Thank you for joining and participating in this webinar. The topic today is about Wattics and how it provides values for energy services companies. My name is John Heinz. I'm our Vice President of Strategic Accounts here at EnergyCAP, and I'll be presenting today and walking you through the capabilities of Wattics. During my presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to type in questions in the Q&A or the chat dialog box. And I can't guarantee I'll be able to get to any questions today, but our team will certainly be able to receive your questions, and we'll be able to follow up with each and every one of you that submits a question. So again, thanks for your interest in today's webinar topic, which is Wattics for energy service companies. Let's get started. Our company is EnergyCAP, and we have a very deliberate and focused mission. Our mission is to provide energy and sustainability ERP software that is the single source of truth of all of your energy, sustainability, and accounting information. To really put it plainly, it's you get your energy and sustainability data, put it into our software tools, and you get value out. And value comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but it allows you to manage your consumption, reduce your carbon footprint, and help you drive savings. Now, for you as an energy services company, that's even more important because you generally are managing the data on behalf of your customers, and then you need to provide value to them as a service company. And we also understand that all of your clients are going to have a lot of unique challenges and requests from you. And so you need some tools internally that can help you fulfill and meet those requests. And that's really at the heart of what our mission is as a company, to provide technology-enabled tools to allow you to better support your customers. You could use Excel, you could use some of those types of applications, but way better to have web-based tools that provide flexibility to allow you to adapt to client needs and to standardize on a single source of truth for your customers. We provide a couple different software tools. That is the framework of our total overall energy and sustainability ERP platform. These tools are designed to help you and your clients reach their goals on a path to net zero. And so, you know, we look at data a lot differently. So we have our EnergyCAP platform that's really focused on monthly utility bill information and monthly reporting. We have a Carbon Hub platform that's heavily focused on sustainability reporting and greenhouse gas tracking. And then we get to Wattics. Wattics, which we are focused on today, is focused on real-time data, tracking and trending interval data to allow you to see what's going on inside buildings and what's going on with equipment in real time, so you can start to take action and drive savings immediately. Now, Wattics is really, really strategic because you can monitor, again, zones and buildings, pieces of equipment to allow you to react in real time. And then later on through EnergyCAP and Carbon Hub, that's where you would see your monthly savings, but real strategic to have the real-time performance analytics so you can make changes in real time. So the whole foundation of Wattics, it allows you to capture your data from equipment, from different types of meters, from sensors, anything that is tracking pulse outputs. So it allows you to capture the data, then allows you to monitor and analyze your data, and then lastly, provides tooling to help you target savings initiatives and then report and calculate the M&V, or the measurement and verification of savings. So the main framework of Wattics is capture, monitor, and save. So there's some very deliberate tooling that we built into the application that is targeted at energy service companies or ESCOs. So let's talk about those. First is the ability to brand. Now we get all of you have your own branding, you have your own messaging, you have your colors, you have your logos, and it's really important for us that allow you to carry those over. So your customer journeys have a very deliberate branding focus for what you're presenting to them. So we provide means to brand the application. First, you can brand the login page. So you can match your company styling and just ensure that when your customers are logging in, they can go to your website, your portal, and log in. So they don't have a couple different experiences just accessing their data, which you're helping them with. You have some color options, and I find this to be a very nice feature where if your colors are, blue and white, and yellow or something like that, then you can adapt the coloring of the application to conform to whatever color palette you've implemented within your business. You can have a custom URL. So, we provide a Wattics URL as a means to log in, but you can have your own custom URL so it's branded for you. Again, to help your customer on this journey of accessing your website and your experience. Reports and emails can be branded for you, again, with your messaging, your logos, and then automatically sent to your users. So keeping with the branding theme, that any of the automatic notifications going out within the application can be branded for you. And then lastly, multiple languages and multiple currencies are supported. So if you have some of your clients in different countries, we do support multiple languages. Another is, major value stream is it's a unique proposition for customer loyalty. So this helps you strengthen your relationships with your customers. You're providing services to them, and you want to retain those services and ensure that your customers are renewing contracts with you. And so if you can provide best-in-class tooling to them and provide value to them, then it makes those renewal discussions a lot easier. So there's a lot of energy analytics built in to help you spot savings opportunities for your customers. There's comprehensive data interfaces. So it allows you to connect the platform to a variety of sub-metering systems and other types of metering systems, BAS systems that are capturing data for your customers. You can create additional revenue and value streams for your customers by the tooling that's within the application. For instance, maybe you want to add schedule optimization services and you don't know where to start with those. So Wattics and the application has some of those tooling that allow you to, access those and then provide them as a means for additional value-added services for your customers. And then, additional revenue opportunities. You can create new services that maybe are complementary of some of the things you're doing. You might, as a service company, not even be thinking about a platform just because you provide other means of services or you have some tools that you've developed in-house. But this could be a whole nother revenue stream for you by now having a software subscription and advanced services that you can roll out to your customers. You could also have different service levels within the tooling. You have the ability to turn on and off features for users, so you could have different subscription levels for your clients. So it allows you some flexibility to create additional revenue streams. And then really lastly, I think that's very important and unique for your business model where you're serving, your customers, is a two-way communication channel to communicate and use the app as a means of communication. So you can enable a real-time communication channel with your customers, via messaging a couple different ways within the app. So one of the ways is when you are using the app, you can tag users. So you can, when looking at a chart, tag a user and say, hey, I want you to be aware of this kind of thing. You should look into your building. It looks like there's a spike in data, or your building systems are turning on a little earlier than what we've agreed that they should turn on to. And so take a look at this chart. So you can tag users, and you can just keep and respond to these tags, and keep in constant, back and forth communication. You can also enable chat within the application to go to your team. So if you want to provide real-time, chatting capabilities with your customers, you can do that within the application. And then lastly, the ability to create and send automated emails. So you're kind of constantly sending reports or other types of communications through emails to your customers. You can schedule these to be automated and sent on a timed interval. It's just one less step of things that you have to do, but it ensures that you're being in constant communication with your customers. So hopefully you understand some of those very specific value streams that the platform provides to you as a service company. So what does the platform provide to the end user, and what are some of the capabilities? Let's go over those. The first, which is really key to the platform, is the data connectedness, or the connectedness to get data from various systems, hardware, devices, just the means to bring in interval data in various ways. So there are dozens of plug and play systems and devices that Wattics is already communicating with and ready to go. We have documentation on our website, but this allows you to say what existing systems do we have out there, and can we plug and play those, and do they communicate with Wattics? Just because one of your systems wouldn't be on our documented list doesn't mean we can't integrate with it. We are building integrations all the time. Our development team is constantly creating integrations and expanding the list of connected systems and devices. So as long as your system has the means to communicate out and provide data, then we can communicate with it. And the most common types of communication is through APIs and file exchanges. If you need to communicate locally through Modbus or BACnet or one of those protocols, we do have the ability to install gateways to communicate locally and then communicate out to the cloud. Please be aware that Wattics is a SaaS application, a software as a service. It is hosted, so there needs to be a means to get data over the internet and into the system. So that's what we build with customers when we understand what all the hardware is and how data is being collected today. If you need meters, if your clients need meters, maybe they have some buildings, your current clients, and they say, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could track interval data? We don't even know where to start. Well, we represent a couple different metering solutions where we can package that with you. We can have pricing options for you. So when you go to quote to customers, you generally know the range of prices. You can also lock in, by the way, to your own hardware companies if you have relationships. But basically, we can provide meters as part of your subscription and as part of a purchase for a customer. So that way you can ensure that you're getting current devices that communicate directly into Wattics. Some of the features of Wattics, which I will go over in a demo here very shortly, real-time alerts and alarms. So providing real-time feedback on the data that's coming in so you can take action. Sentinel, which is machine learning patterns. So tracking how a stream of interval data trends over time, and the system learns the pattern and then can alert you if your usage is above or below an expected pattern. There's Measurement and verification of savings capabilities that are ISO and IPMVP compliant. So tracking savings if you're implementing projects with your customers. There's heat mapping, so you can be alerted what times of day are most intensive usage, what days of the week. You can create formula-based calculations. So let's say you and your customers, you have a reduction target and you want to trend, real-time interval data compared to a reduction goal, where you can create a formula based on an actual meter and a formula, say a reduction target of 10% or something like that. You can create a formula and then compare your actual versus your target. You can create formulas for a lot of different purposes. You can do correlations using formulas where you're tracking usage with production. So you're constantly saying, like, first, is there a correlation with the consumption, say in a manufacturing building, and your production? And then really, how strong is that correlation? And what is your usage per production widget or numbers produced? So a lot of very strategic reasons why formula-based calculations are helpful. You could track indoor air quality. So if you have some clients that need to track how good their air is for the comfort of occupants, there are those capabilities in the systems. Tariff analysis. Some of you might do what if analysis today. Well, you can apply a tariff to your interval data to then track real-time costs for your consumption. You can also use it to run what if scenarios if you're doing any rate shopping. Load profiling and tracking load shapes and creating patterns. Dashboarding, for you to create dashboards to communicate to your clients, and your clients to create dashboards to communicate to internal stakeholders. You can add notes and remarks to the charts, so you can alert your client or your customer of any types of anomalies or issues in data. You can track actions and track savings. You can do schedule optimization, run a what if scenarios if you can change scheduling patterns and track the savings due to those, and a whole bunch of other things. So really feature-rich capabilities of the platform. Okay, so I just verbalized the features. Let's drill in and take a look at them. The first screen I wanted to show you is just the ability. This is just an example where if you wanted to create your own login experience for you and your customers, you could do it, where you can create your own logo, put your own logo, put your own background, basically have your own branded login page. I'm logging into the Wattics branded page, which looks like this. So let's go in. When I log into the platform, I come to a home screen. So in the home screen, you can set up, a couple real-time widgets, just so at any time you can see what your data looks like for any given points, in real time as it's happening, as data is flowing in. It also has notifications. So this is alerting me of if there's any problems in the data, I can be alerted right from here, so I can go and start taking action immediately for any potential problems. Okay. So just a home screen that you come to with just some of these quick KPIs. The way that Wattics is built is over to the left, you have a tree structure where you can lay out clients and then organizations, buildings, and then the points that you're tracking. So you have a couple different layers of a tree that you can nest data underneath, for rolled up reporting and just for viewing and organization purposes. For you, the ESCO, you can restrict access to any of these locations to a user. So you can have multiple clients or customers as part of one data set and then build their data underneath it. And then when you set up a user for that customer, you can restrict access to, say, just an organizational level that would have all their data underneath it. So this allows you to manage multiple clients in a database, but restrict access. You'll notice when I click on, this is a metered point in a coffee bar in a hotel, and that's just what I'm using as an example. You'll notice if I click on this electric meter, I get some, views in the middle, and then over to the right is where you can filter the data. Okay. So this is how the platform is built. So a lot of the navigation is built on this. So if I wanted to see my data on, let's actually use Easter Sunday, then I can go to, or I'm sorry, Sunday's here. I can go to my, Easter Sunday. I can then look at the interval data profile. So this is 5-minute KW data I'm looking at here, and just see, what happened at this meter in this building during this time period. Real quickly, real easy for me to say, well, instead of looking at, on Sunday, maybe I want to go back to a week ago to today, so last Tuesday, and look at that. I just click on the calendar and then it updates. You can track multiple variables for the commodities. So this is electric. So this is looking at KW. You can also, if the meter allows for it, you can bring in power factor, voltage, current, a lot of different variables as it pertains to the data being captured from your meter. So this part of the program is just where the raw data is being viewed, so you can analyze it in a lot of different ways. As that data is coming in, there's alarming going on within the data. So there's 3 types of alarms that can be set up on your data as it's coming in. The first is an offline notification. So this notification is really helpful to identify meters or points where the system has not detected a reading within a user-defined period of time. So in this case, I'm saying, if I haven't received a reading within 12 hours, send me an email, because then I should take action and say, well, is the meter offline? Is it not communicating? If you're doing file exchanges, is automation not running? What is going on? So I can start troubleshooting and then correct the issue and then get data back. You normally, when you're analyzing interval data, don't want a long period of time to go by without getting data. So real helpful to detect problems in just, the activity of data coming in. A second type of detection is a custom detection. So this detection for any one of these points allows you to set the threshold. So what is it? What's the parameter you want to analyze and monitor? What's the threshold? So in this case, I'm saying if my demand goes above a certain amount, then send an alarm, and let me know what's going on, that we've exceeded the threshold. So you can configure the thresholds to be whatever you want. You can then tell the system what time of the day, should it only be during business hours, or maybe you have certain alarms that are during after business hours. What days of the week do you want to be notified? And then how do you want to be notified? Do you want it just to go on a dashboard? Do you want to send a text? Do you want it to email a group of users? So you establish what the criteria is for those alarms. And then lastly is a detection that's based on the machine learning capabilities called Sentinel. So in this case, it's saying, like, do a machine learning algorithm and create an expected profile for every point. And if any of my readings fall outside of that expected range, then flag and an alarm. So what the Sentinel looks like is this. So I'll stick with this bar area where this is like live data today. You can see this green thicker bar, which represents the expected load. This is the Sentinel. It, over the course of time, based on seasonality, days of the week, my pattern of usage, it's learned what a very reasonable behavior is for this meter. And that's what you're seeing in the green. And then the black is the actual for today. So this is what happened. And those unexpected alarms would be triggered if this black line would go above or below this green. So really helpful that the system is just telling you what's expected, and it varies point to point. So in this case, this would be a floor of a hotel. You can see like here's the normal pattern in green, and black was, it was kind of low for today. The lowness of a hotel could just be that today it was low occupancy. We had a busy Easter weekend, and then everyone checked out, Monday. So Tuesday it just was abnormally low compared to normal because, some people weren't traveling as much because we just came back from a vacation. So that's what this Sentinel is showing. It's just what the expected load is, and then you can alarm against it. You can also use this trend to backfill data. If you ever have any gaps in data or missing data, you can use this to backfill and correct data. Okay. Some other capabilities in the system is there's an analyzer tool, which lets you just dissect your interval data a lot of different ways. So what I could do is I could say, well, for the coffee bar, I want to see this is 5-minute readings for a day. Maybe I want to view this on a line chart. Maybe instead of just one day, I want to compare today versus last Tuesday. So I can start looking at this. And so what I'm doing now is overlaying today versus last Tuesday. So you can just see what that behavior looks like. Okay. You can also, maybe I want to stack all my floors one on top of the other. So I want to say, well, if this is a hotel, like how do these floors trend one compared to the other? Let me remove that one. So I can see these are 2 floors of a hotel, one on top of the other. I could also just add every piece of the hotel, and then just see how all of that stacks up. So real easy to, aggregate data. You can look at this in a lot of different time intervals. Maybe I want to look at all of this rolled up on a monthly basis. Let me go back 1 month to March. So this would be all these points, month of March. And notice at the top, the system does aggregate or totalize the value. So in this case, for all of these points, the total usage for the month is 32,000 kilowatt hours. So it allows for easy roll-up reporting. You can also stack bar them. So to say, well, what's the total for every day, and what is the mix for all of these points? How do they make up the total? So I'm looking here at usage. Through the tariff engine, you can apply a rate, time of use rates, and now I can look at everything from a cost standpoint. So my usage was 34,000 kilowatt hours. Now I can report in total cost of about $16,000. You can also apply CO2 emission factors. So in this case, I'm now looking at my total CO2 emissions day by day. And the CO2 you could report hourly or every 5 minutes. So real time, CO2 emission data. It's really nice when you have to provide sustainability, reporting and capabilities to your customers. And so this tool, very powerful. Slice and dice the data 1,000 different ways. You can also overlay weather data on top of here, so you can see how weather might be affecting your consumption. Whenever you like a chart, you can star it like this. And then what this allows you to do is add it to a dashboard view. So you pick how you need this chart to look, add it to the dashboard, and then I can go to my dashboard, and now I have all of those views that I've created over time. These get updated in real time, and then you can share this with others. So now that you have this link, you can give it to your customer, you can embed it on a web page, and then there's access to the dashboard outside of having to log into the application. So very easy to create dashboards and share them. While you're looking at data, you can also tag users. We talked about communication is important. So what we can do, like if I want to add a remark, I can just tag someone, like maybe I'll tag Adam Wetzel. and I can define, give him a warning, define a time period I want him to look into, and then save it. So what Adam will get is an email, notifying that I tagged him. He could come back in here, add remarks, add comments, and look at the data and see what's going on. So real nice means of communication. Couple more things before we end today. One thing is heat mapping. So what the tool allows you to do, I'm going to go to this example, is it heat maps. So this is the October 2022 heat map of the coffee bar area in the hotel. What this is showing is that consistently every day throughout the month, most of the building, most of the zone systems are turning on around 5 in the morning and then shutting off around 11 or 12 in the afternoon. It's indicated in the dark shading. So I can understand every 30 minutes what my use intensity is. This tool not only does that, but also allows you to run what if scenarios. So for instance, maybe I want to shut down this area a lot deeper on the weekends because most of my occupants are business travelers, and so Sunday and Saturday, I want to reduce my consumption by 50% just because I don't have quite as many visitors then. So I can save the schedule, and notice it'll update the chart a bit for those days, and then it'll tell me what my use savings would be if I could make that schedule change, and then what my cost savings would be. So a nice tool for you to work with on your with your customers on running what if scenarios. And this is just helping to change scheduling patterns and seeing where you can save the most. If you're actually implementing projects with your customers, there's a whole M&V engine built in where you can define, is this an option B or option C protocol? And then you can set up the project. So here you can describe the project with your customer. You can list what the cost is. Notice this is in euro, so multiple currencies can be implemented within the application if you have clients in different parts of the world. So here we're defining what the cost is, what methodology we're using, and details about the project, which you can use this interface to create. Details about the energy conservation measure or ECM that you're implementing and the time periods. It then will tell you what interval data period do you want to use as your base? What do you want to use as your reporting period? And then it'll create a model. And in the model, it does a regression and allows you to bring in multiple variables. So heating, cooling degree days, you could bring in production or occupancy. You can look at weekends and working days and just have different variables depending on the actual usage pattern within the space. And then it'll calculate savings. So what this is doing is it's saying, here's the pre-project numbers, and then here's the post. The red is the calculated value based on the model, and the green is the actual measured or metered. And so then down below, it'll tell you what your usage savings are, what your cost savings are, and then what your payback period is. So this is really nice if you're doing any types of energy management projects or energy conservation measures with your customers. And then kind of to close this, on the reporting end, there's all of these reports you can run, and you can schedule them to be sent automatically to your customers. I'm downloading a report here, which is a very extensive M&V report, but this would all be branded for you. So the Wattics logo would be your logo, the color scheme could be yours. And then this is a report of what I just walked through. So it's looking at the details of the project and giving all the calculations so your customer can be completely informed with what you're tracking from a savings standpoint. Okay, a lot more capabilities in Wattics. I do encourage you, if you're interested to learn more and we can show you even more features, please get in touch with our sales team. We'll be happy to walk you through a personal demonstration of the product. Real quick before we part, wanted to mention pricing. So the way we price Wattics is we have an annual platform fee, which that covers upgrades, access to support, and access to our customer success team. And then we charge per point. And we have two different points, either a standard, which would be one data stream, so just usage, or a complex point, which would be, say, use, demand, power factor, current, voltage, multiple variables. So we have the platform fee multiplied by the number of points times the point fee, and that gets your annual fee. The one-time fees that we charge generally are just for developing integrations to your metering systems. And then we can also, as I talked about earlier, we can provide hardware as part of your purchase or your customer's purchase if needed. We do provide discounts to ESCOs. So for you, we recognize you need to resell this. These are our list prices. We can work with you on discounts because we recognize you need to mark it up, and sell it to your customers. Thank you for your time today. I really hope you enjoyed this and you learned something. Please get in touch with our sales team to discuss next steps for you. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good rest of the day.